The perfect sequel. A game that cannot exist. Ghost of Yotei does. Of course, after bitching about not having Ghost of Yotei, guess who finally got it for Christmas? This guy! And what better way to start the great 2026 trophy hunt than with Ghost of Yotei? This video is going to work as a double whammy. Not only is it going to work as a trophy hunter video, but it's also going to be my official review of the game. Yes, I know that all hype has essentially died for the game since it's been a few months, but I don't care. I'm not here to chase views, I'm just here. So sit down, relax, form a haiku, and let's get started. This is the Platinum Journey into Ghost of Yotei.
I've been gone so long.
Ghost of Yotei is made up of 54 trophies and is split into 3 categories: the story, the weapons that we collect, and the open world. I probably play open world games differently than most players do, as I like to focus on collecting everything before committing to the main campaign. However, before I was able to explore this beautiful new landscape, I first had to defeat the snake. Meet Atsu, who was on a mission to find and kill all 6 members of the Yotei 6, a cunning gang made up of killers who are responsible for massacring her family. The snake, the Oni, the kitsune, the dragon, the spider, and their leader, Lord Saito. And the first one on our list is the snake. I really like that this is our first mission into the game. Typically when handed a storyline like this, where we're after a specific group of figures, it takes a bit of time before we're able to hit the first target. But Sucker Punch pulled a Philly D and said, let's jump into it. The snake is our combat tutorial, where we learn how to attack, dodge, and parry attacks. Taking them down earns our first trophy. After that, we make our way back home and reminisce about the good old days, and formulate a plan on what we're going to be doing next. With that said, it's finally time to hit the open world. This is it, Chief. It's very rare for me to see a studio take everything that was great from its predecessor and fine-tune it to perfection for a sequel. The open world consists of many things to do, some originating from the first game, and others completely unique to this game. The first thing being camping. I hate camping. Camping is meant to be an easy way to replenish lost resolve, which is something needed to pull off the super cool combat abilities in the game. Here's where I popped my second trophy, Memento, which was for opening photo mode and interacting with it. Minutes later, I found myself playing a side quest that involves gambling some money at a game called Zeni Haijiki. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. Basically, an abundance of coins are spread out on a table, and we must flick a coin to another without touching other coins or flicking it off the table. Here is where I earned my next trophy, Good with Coins, which is for winning a charm when playing Zeni Haijiki. After robbing this man of his charm and all his money, I decided to hit the campground and bust out my shamisen, earning the next trophy, Fireside Performance. Personally, I'm a much bigger fan of the shamisen than I am of Jin's flute. After several hours of running around the Yotei grasslands, discovering bamboo swings, hot springs, and completing the occasional bounty, I decided that I didn't want my horse anymore and needed to find a better one. I headed over to the Yotei stables and saved a stable boy there. Coincidentally, 16 years ago, he promised me a free horse, and I'm here to collect it. After choosing my steed and naming it, I earned my next trophy, naming a friend. It was here where I remembered that my parents left the charm at the peak of Mount Yotei, and I wanted that shit. So I packed my bags and began to climb. After several days of rock climbing, tree jumping, grapple hooking, ear popping, and freezing my ass off, I finally reached the peak. Grabbed the charm, as well as another trophy, Inheritance. After pretty much cleaning up the Yotei grasslands and the Tokachi range, I decided it was time to go after my next target, the Oni. The Oni, along with his gang of Oni raiders, have been causing trouble on the northwestern coast of Ezo, the Ishikari Plains. So much trouble that the local Masume clan have orders to take him down. Here we meet Lord Kitamori, a high-ranking general for Clan Masume, who doesn't exactly trust us. After all, we have a bounty on our head. But after a few trust exercises and sending some raiders to their grave, we learn that Lord Kitamori is our once thought dead brother Jubei. It's a shame we had to cut this reunion short, but his higher up doesn't trust us to get shit done, so to relieve some of the stress, we go on a quest to clean up some of the Ishikari Plains. Here's where I begin discovering some of the new activities Yotei has to offer, as well as some old ones. For starters, we have the Wolf Dens, which has us follow a wolf to a hunter camp to save some of his buddies, each time adding a little more platforming and chaos to the race across the island. Upon arriving at our first hunter camp, I managed to nab 2 trophies back to back. 2 was 1 for completing a standoff with a companion, and shortly after, I tossed this empty sake jar at an enemy, which accidentally triggered a wolf kill, earning wolf bait. While going for a bounty, I noticed some enemies chilling near a brush, so I thought I'd go for brush fire, which requires killing an enemy by lighting some brushes on fire. One of my favorite new mechanics is causing an enemy to drop their weapon for me to use against them. I had been doing this non-stop, but hadn't actually used the weapon against the enemy that dropped it. So by doing this, it netted me, you drop this. Another thing I was consistently doing when exploring the open world was taking on the disciples of Takezo the Unrivaled. With it being such an early questline in the game, I thought nothing of it. Eventually, I met Takezo the Unrivaled, and boy, I wasn't ready. But I was also determined. My brother told me that Takezo was the hardest boss in the game, and that I was going to struggle hard when going for his trophy. And I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling the pressure. Until I wasn't, because I somehow stun-locked Takezo in this final battle. His struggle was my cuddle. But hey, at least I'm now the Unrivaled. While running around the map, I also managed to collect 30 pieces of vanity gear, as well as interrogate 10 enemies, which earned me purely decorative and very persuasive. It was clear to me that I was becoming a threat. How? I have no idea, but after frightening 20 enemies with the Onryo Howl, I earned the Horror. After clearing some bamboo swings, I burned up a thirst for some sake, and lo and behold, collecting 10 of them got me sake flight. But alcohol and swag wasn't going to solve the Oni Raider issue. I needed some gear, and my blades were getting dull. First, I gathered some explosives from Ina and helped defend her land from the raiders, and then traded in my blades for a sharp stick from Sensei Takahashi. I'm thankful for my time with the sensei, because not only did he give me a new weapon, but he taught me the best way to hunt for food: spearfishing. To earn this trophy, you need to spear 5 fish from rivers. Thankfully, Sensei Takahashi has you spear 4 fish in its quest line. All I had to do was find one last fish, and this one just happened to be jumping up while I was going for a bounty, so I got that sweet, sweet trophy, as well as a new sweet, sweet meal. I also shoved the dude off a cliff and got sayonara. It's fine. He deserved it. After cleaning up some more side activities and finding my 30th altar of reflection, it was finally time to face the Oni. There was some back and forth with my brother, long talks, long walks, and an incurable rash, but the Oni finally got what he deserved once we got the right intel. I was feeling pretty good about myself, but it was time to make my way to the next area, Taisho Ridge. A snowy biome full of shinobi, and home to my next target, the Kitsune. It was going to take some real skill to survive the harsh colds of the Taisho Ridge, so I upgraded some of my gear, as well as shared a nice meal with an Inu woman named Huchi. Got a new weapon under my belt, and earned myself 2 more weapon trophies, Way of the Kasiragama for helping Sensei Inamoto confront his grandson, as well as the Owl's Talon for assassinating an enemy with said Kasiragama. I also met a nice farmer named Hana, who taught me how to use kunai against my enemies. After saving her farms, I earned another trophy, Kunai Defender. It was finally time to divert my attention to the kitsune, and thankfully, this nice woman helped me figure out how to stop him, until we find out that this nice lady isn't who she says she is. It turns out that the kitsune isn't the same kitsune that helped slaughter my parents all those years ago. No, but is indeed the successor to the kitsune. The real kitsune is my ally, Lady Oyuki. And boy, did I not see this coming. I need some air. I don't know how I can recover from this betrayal. I trusted her, but she helped hang my mother. She helped slaughter my father, but she also saved me. I'm so conflicted. I kicked Kitsune's ass and crossed his name from my stash, thus earning another trophy. With 3 members of the Yotei 6 defeated, I knew it was finally time to go for the big 3. However, to stop the big 3, I was gonna need a big sword, the Odachi. Thankfully, Master Yoshida's dojo isn't too far from Saito's camp, and he's got the big sword for me to swing. He's gonna help me swing his big sword. Just give me the damn sword and let me kick ass. God, thank you. Getting this also nets me the trophy for collecting all melee weapons. With 3 targets left on my stash, Saito was getting desperate, so he had his sons and army begin their assault on Ashima Coast, home of Clan Masumaye, and to our surprise, Jubei's daughter, Kiku. For the entire first act, we were fighting for revenge, but now, we're fighting for our family. After sneaking through a desolate beach of dead samurai, Jubei tasks us with a gun, earning us another trophy. Take aim. With Ashima Coast being the final piece to the Ezo puzzle, I was finally ready to clean up the map from its activities, and I gotta say, Sucker Punch did a really great job filling out the world with things to do, and to be honest, not a single activity got stale for me. Scattered in all 5 regions were these reliquary puzzles that involved switching gears toward the centerpiece, Mount Yotei. Completing all 5 of these netted me Child of the Mountain. Collecting the pistol also achieved me the final quick draw weapon and trophy dedicated to that quick draw. Also, finishing a standoff with said pistol shot earned me from the hip. One thing I haven't gone into much detail about is the mythic tales, but believe me, every single one of them, minus 1, was fun. But you couldn't prepare me for the amount of fun and nostalgia that the Stormblade mission brought me. Ghost of Tsushima is probably my favorite PlayStation exclusive to come from the PS4 era, and like a lot of its fans, was disappointed to hear that we wouldn't be continuing Jin's story in the sequel. However, the attention to detail, as well as the environmental storytelling that's revolved around this side quest, is phenomenal, and gave me a sense of closure and nostalgia for the character. Sometime after the events of Tsushima, Jin fled his home and found himself in Ezo, and became the first shinobi, which is crazy, because Jin's whole inner conflict was fighting while being honorable. To see where he ended up and how he became is so spectacular that I had goosebumps every time Yotei brought up something from Jin's past. I was satisfied. With the Stormblade in hand, I continued clearing the open world activities like a glorified shopping list. I rid the entire map of Yotei 6 camps and earned for the living, and completed all bounties scattered throughout the game. All but my own, of course, which netted me Master Bounty Hunter. Along the way, I also finished upgrading my sword, which earned me like father, like daughter. Scattered throughout the map were these special hidden signs that, if you bowed or even played your shamisen around them, would grant you a cool environmental animation around you. Finding 10 of these will net you speaking with the land. I also managed to find the remaining wolf dens and really nurtured a true friendship with the wolf that's been stalking me this whole time. By completing the last one and upgrading my wolf companion, I earned the Wolves of Azo trophy. I also managed to find all the armor in the game, which granted me for all occasions. With only 10 trophies left before Platinum, I wanted to officially clean up everything. That way, all I had left was to finish the story. I just want to say that I think Ghost of Yotei is probably one of the best open world games that I've ever played, which I have my reasons for. While myself and others applauded Ghost of Tsushima for its beautiful world to explore, the actual activities found within that game were extremely repetitive. With Mongol camps all acting the same and the 50 of Fox Den the find, I remember these small nuggets of the world making the platinum journey for that game kind of a slog. Ghost of Yotei fixes these issues by making sure every activity, whether it be new or not, has something happening around it to make it stand out. Some bamboo swings require drinking sake before attempting, while another will have a group of soldiers practicing around you just for 2 bears to attack you at random. I found the hot springs with people already bathing, then proceeded to run away because the Onryo was approaching. Fox dens, which were a repetitive collectible from the first game, came back with a small number this time around, and each one served as its own mini adventure, instead of just following some fox. Some had enemies lurking around, and others had you save other foxes that were trapped. Shrine climbs were slightly tweaked to be more engaging. Hell, even the shrines of the fallen markers were littered with cool things, like this one I found that worked as an homage to the infamous franchise. Everything just feels complete. You know what I mean? Anyways, for clearing all the fox dens and for finding this neat animal sanctuary, we are blessed by the foxes with a mask and the trophy, Guardian of Inari. For completing all bamboo swings, shrine climbs, and hot springs, we're granted body, mind, and spirit. Hidden throughout the game are little sumie painting minigames, and for completing them, we're given an artist's eye. Another cool minigame found in the Taisho Ridge are these small puzzle boxes, usually found at the end of a Yotei 6 Ninetales camp. For solving all 12 boxes, you are granted the trophy Trickster Fox. The last minigame that I found was in a familiar, where I had to shoot 6 arrows into 6 rings. This was by far the hardest trophy in the game, as 3 rings require precise timing, even with the slow down ability. And finally, the last collectible in the game were 7 shamisen songs that we had to learn. Typically, these are found when playing through the different activities in the game, as they're typically used to find said activities, i.e. Song of the Wolf, Song of Vanity, and so on. However, one song is completely RNG based. To earn the final song, Song of the Shrine, a complete stranger must stumble into your camp and teach you the song. This took me a full hour of fast traveling to different camps and setting it up just with hope that some guy would show up. I reviewed Reddit posts, trophy guides, meditated, and prayed to the RNG gods that he would spawn. Hell, I even tried to catch him at some of the musician camps, as that seemed like a best bet. It was torture. It was agony. There's nothing that I hate more than RNG-based trophies. Thankfully, after setting up a camp near one of these musician camp, did he finally choose to bless me with his presence and the final song of the game, thus earning me the trophy like mother, like daughter. It was finally time to go after the final 3. Since our plan to kill the dragon didn't pan out, we decided to try and catch the spider at a local shindig with the hope that we could use him as dragon bait. Lo and behold, he was putting on the Shakespearean production of The Night of the Burning Tree, which pissed me off to the point where I had to bring out my inner Danny Phantom and go ghost on everybody's ass.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow
spider is ours.
After that, we lured the dragon out of his hidey hole by using his brother as bait. Unfortunately, by doing this, we allowed for Jubei and Lady Oyuki to get captured by Saito and for the spider to escape. Not knowing what to do, we took our adopted niece back to my house and told her that everything was going to be fine. Of course, this didn't bode well, as she essentially told me that I bring death everywhere I go and to kindly, but respectfully, fuck off. With feelings hurt, I decided to let my anger go and pray that the spider cares enough to visit his brother's grave at their burial ground. He did. We spared some words and came to a truce in order to save my family, despite being responsible for the fact that he lost his. All that was left was to save my brother and Lady Oyuki at Saito's castle, which I did. But something was wrong. Saito wasn't there, and left a note saying that we're going to settle things where it all began. Home. Saito is a major dick, but with him being an ex-samurai, he does have a little bit of honor. In exchange for letting Kiku go, Jubei and Lady Oyuki must leave so that Saito can have a proper one-on-one with the Onryo. This fight was actually pretty challenging. Definitely more challenging than Takezo the Unrivaled, but still fun. The suspense that comes from this fight, from dueling with each weapon, to Jubei showing up, to Jubei getting stabbed, to pinning the son of the bitch down to the very tree he pinned you down to all those years ago. Saito was finally dead, and the Onryo could finally rest. But at what cost? At the beginning of our journey, Atsu swore that after the Yotei 6 had been defeated, that she too would join her family in the afterlife. But with a newfound family to live for, she now gets a true chance at living. There was only one last thing to do. After every few quests, someone leaves gifts for Atsu at some of the local inns. For collecting 8 gifts, you'll earn the trophy, Gifts for the Ghosts, thus earning me the Platinum Trophy. Ghost of Yotei is a great game that unfortunately came out during a year of overwhelmingly great games. Personally, I think it was robbed at the Game Awards, because never have I ever seen a sequel that fundamentally fixed gameplay mechanics that didn't even need fixing, to the point where both games in the franchise shine in their own way as true gaming contenders. The only thing that I could see that went against it was, unfortunately, the main character, Atsu. To me, I found her character to be very one-dimensional for 80% of the game. She's so devoted to avenging her family's death that it's almost all she talks about when meeting her allies throughout the game. Even when reuniting with her brother, someone whom she thought was dead, her devotion doesn't stray. It isn't until it's revealed that he has a daughter, and that maybe, just maybe, family is possible. The longer I played, the more I ended up missing Jin, which is crazy, as I tend to gravitate more towards female leads. As for the story, it honestly felt more in tune with the Sly Cooper franchise than it did with Ghost of Tsushima. Taking down a crime syndicate in different regions, full of different mechanics to master, felt very Sly Cooper, to the point where, for a small moment, redeemed a bit of hope that maybe Sucker Punch could revisit their roots one day. With that said, I would give Ghost of Yotei a strong 8.5 out of 10. As for the Platinum difficulty, it's very much a 3 out of 10. I'm just glad that I have another 100% under my belt. DLC trophies? Yeah, I'm not getting those right now. DLcember maybe?